The Third Crusade, a clash of titans. Introduction. The Third Crusade, 1189 to 1192, was one of the most legendary and dramatic conflicts of the medieval era. It was a war fought between the powerful Muslim leader Saladin and the combined Christian forces of King Richard the Lionheart of England, Emperor Frederick Barbarossa of the Holy Roman Empire, and King Philip II of France. The campaign was launched to reclaim Jerusalem, which had been lost to Saladin in 1187 after the devastating Battle of Hattin. Despite a series of incredible battles, heroic duels, and strategic maneuvers, the Third Crusade ultimately ended in a truce rather than a decisive victory. This war showcased the clash of two of history's most brilliant military minds and left a lasting impact on the world. Background: the fall of Jerusalem. The origins of the Third Crusade can be traced back to Saladin's victory over the Crusader states. As the Sultan of Egypt and Syria, Saladin unified the Muslim world and launched a relentless campaign against the Christian-held territories in the Holy Land. His defining moment came in 1187 at the Battle of Hattin, where he annihilated the Crusader army and captured Jerusalem. News of Jerusalem's fall sent shockwaves throughout Europe. Pope Gregory VIII issued a call for a new crusade, urging Europe's most powerful rulers to take up arms. Among those who responded were Emperor Frederick Barbarossa, King Philip II of France, and King Richard I of England, men whose ambition, rivalry, and military prowess would shape the course of the war. The campaign begins. The March to the Holy Land. The Third Crusade began with Frederick Barbarossa leading an immense German army through Byzantine lands toward the Holy Land. However, tragedy struck when Barbarossa drowned in the Salef River in modern-day Turkey. His death shattered the morale of his troops, leading to the dispersal of much of his army before they could reach their destination. This left Richard the Lionheart and Philip II of France to lead the charge. The two kings set sail separately, engaging in skirmishes along the way. Richard made a notorious stop in Cyprus, where he defeated its ruler and claimed the island, which later became a key strategic stronghold for the Crusaders. The Siege of Acre, 1189 to 1191. By the time Richard and Philip arrived in the Holy Land, the Crusaders were already besieging the city of Acre, a crucial stronghold held by Saladin. The battle for Acre was brutal, with both sides suffering heavy losses. Richard's military genius was on full display as he led siege engines, naval attacks, and coordinated ground assaults. After months of relentless combat, Acre fell in July 1191. However, tensions between Richard and Philip began to rise. Their mutual distrust, fueled by political rivalries back in Europe, led to Philip abandoning the campaign and returning to France, leaving Richard to lead the Crusader army alone. Richard versus Saladin. The Battle of Arsuf, 1191. One of the most famous battles of the Third Crusade was the Battle of Arsuf, fought on September 7, 1191. Richard's forces, marching along the coastline, were constantly harassed by Saladin's cavalry. Despite this, Richard maintained discipline, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. When Saladin's forces launched a major assault, Richard ordered a full charge, devastating the Muslim army. The battle demonstrated Richard's tactical brilliance and proved that Saladin was not invincible. However, while it was a significant victory, it did not lead to the recapture of Jerusalem. The failed march on Jerusalem. Following the victory at Arsuf, Richard set his sights on Jerusalem, but logistical challenges and internal disputes within the Crusader army plagued his campaign. Despite getting within sight of the Holy City, Richard realized that even if he captured Jerusalem, holding it would be nearly impossible without a reliable supply chain. The harsh desert conditions, lack of reinforcements, and the looming threat of Saladin's counterattack forced him to retreat. The Battle of Jaffa and the Truce, 1192. In the summer of 1192, Saladin launched an attack on Jaffa, a key coastal stronghold for the Crusaders. Richard, showing his legendary bravery, led a small force in a daring counterattack, routing Saladin's troops in a stunning victory. Despite this success, both leaders were exhausted. After years of fighting, neither side could achieve total victory. Recognizing the need for peace, Richard and Saladin negotiated a truce in September 1192. The treaty allowed Christian pilgrims safe passage to Jerusalem while the city remained under Muslim control. Aftermath and legacy. Richard, weakened by illness and political concerns back in Europe, departed the Holy Land in October 1192. He never set foot in Jerusalem and was later captured and imprisoned by his enemies in Europe. Saladin, though victorious in defending Jerusalem, died in 1193, leaving behind a fractured empire. The Third Crusade failed in its ultimate goal of reclaiming Jerusalem, but it solidified Richard's reputation as one of history's greatest warriors. It also set the stage for future crusades and prolonged Christian-Muslim conflicts in the region. Conclusion. The Third Crusade remains one of the most fascinating and legendary wars of the medieval period. It was a war of ambition, heroism, and bitter rivalry between two of history's greatest figures, Richard the Lionheart and Saladin. Though it ended in compromise, the Crusade left a lasting impact on the world, shaping the geopolitics of the Middle East for centuries to come. Would history have changed if Richard had captured Jerusalem? That question remains one of the great what-ifs of history.